On April 14th, 1912, the first-class passengers of the Titanic were just sitting down to what they thought was another fabulous meal on the most expensive cruise ship they've ever been on. We know it didn't go that smoothly for them, and for over half of those people, this breakfast was the last meal they ever had. You know, here's what I learned about 1912 while preparing for this video. They eat weird food, especially for breakfast. What? Surely they had taste buds back then. It doesn't matter, because today we're tasting all of them first-class foods from the breakfast served on the final day of the Titanic's last day at sea before it sank. I'm gonna eat all of these weird foods, even the ones that smell gross, you guys. I plan on making this a part of a series where we try first class, second class, and third class meals from that fateful day at sea. But we gotta start somewhere, and we're starting at the top. So stay tuned for a taste test of the Royal RMS Titanic food breakfast. Hello television viewers, my name is Nick. Thank you so much for joining me once again on my channel for my first ever historical taste test. My sister sent me a picture of the menus from the Titanic and said it would be a fun idea if I did a video where I tasted the foods that they had. I thought that was an amazing idea and also one that's been done before by big YouTubers like Shane Dawson. However, I'm gonna split up the meals by class and by time of day that they were served, and I'm just focusing on foods that were served on April 14th, 1912, which was the last day before the Titanic sank. Why? Because it ups the morbid factor for me. Why think about just drowning dead people all the time when I can think about what was being digested in their stomachs as their corpse floated through the icy Atlantic? No disrespect to the many lives lost on that day, you know? We're gonna taste some weird breakfast foods today, but first make sure you give this video a big thumbs up if you want to see even more historical taste tests like this. But most importantly, if you're new here, I'd love to have you click that subscribe button that looks like that right over there. That way you never miss new videos from me. I upload 2 new ones every week. Now, I got a lot of the historical information for this video from the website thespruceeats.com, and the menus themselves I got from titanicfact.net. I'll put the links to both of them below, but I was started with the first class breakfast menu because there are a lot of things jumping out at me that I just didn't know what they are. My first thought was like, okay, this is like old-timey fancy British food. Nope, I was wrong. In fact, even though the Titanic was a British ship, it was very fashionable, especially for the high-class people, to be eating a worldly menu that included French dishes or international fare. The lower classes would eat food that was a little bit more like what they would have back home, but for everyone else, this was a big deal. The first class tickets would cost between $150 and the most expensive ticket was $4,000, which would be the equivalent of 70 grand in today's money. Again, I owe all of this research to Elaine Lem at thespruceeats.com. Thank you, Elaine. So let's take a look at this menu we got going on for breakfast on that fateful morning. We're put on our best tweed suits, and if you're Rose from the movie Titanic, you put on your widest hat, and if you're the mom, you have that face where you're like, Rose, Rose. That's her. Okay. The Titanic had pounds and pounds of fresh food on board. They had to feed so many people. Can you imagine trying to keep all of that food cold in 1912 at sea? I can't. Okay, here's the menu for breakfast, April 14th, 1912. They found out this menu historically from the ship company's records and floating amongst the wreckage after the ship sank itself, so creepy. Baked apple, that sounds gross. I thought about doing a baked apple, I just can't. Please forgive me. And fresh fruit, stuff like that. I know what that tastes like, so I didn't get it at Whole Foods today. They really loved meat in the morning, okay? Let's talk about the 1912s and how bad their digestion must have been. Like, you're gonna wake up and eat grilled pork, grilled mutton, grilled sausage, grilled ham, lamb collops. God, that's so much red meat for before it's even 8 a.m. I'm just gonna wash down some mutton with some warm tea. That'll be great in my stomach. Cold meat, sirloin steak, plain and tomato omelets. I would be like, please get me that and then leave me the hell alone because the rest of this sounds disgusting. Buckwheat pancakes, and then a bunch of other foods that we have sitting right here in front of us. So why don't we just get to snacking? What do you think? Oh, last night we had the best time at the parlor. We did dance the jiggery-doo and well into the night, but now I'm so famished I could just really use a bowl of vegetable stew. You know how everyone likes to eat stew for breakfast? What the heck? Come on, Britain, Germany, whatever this is. I did read in Goop that soup is actually a smart breakfast choice nowadays too because it's very hydrating, but even when I read that I was like, you want me to sit down to a bowl of soup in the morning? Are you kidding? But here we go. Now, just the smell of this is making me queasy this early, but it's soup. I can't imagine why you would want soup for breakfast. This just makes me feel like I'm sick and I'm staying home from school. But I guess back then they were like, we have a lot of vegetables and we have a lot of water. We can do soup. Do you like soup for breakfast? Oh, okay. That's enough soup. That's enough vegetable stew for me. I don't think we need any more of that. I don't even want it in front of my face. That's how much it smells like soup. That's how weird of a breakfast food you are, soup. You don't even belong on the table. Coming at me with a bowl full of liquid for morning. What kind of a joke? Okay, let's move on to something that maybe won't be disgusting. What do you say? First up, we have some cornbread and black currant conserve. Now, I love me some cornbread, and when I was in college, my freshman year, we used to always get this black currant flavored vodka from the liquor store that wouldn't card us on 14th Street. I didn't know what a black currant was then. I just liked the taste of vodka. Loved it. Yeah, the taste is why I was drinking it. I just loved the taste. Like everyone does. But now we have it here, and I don't know what it tastes like on its own, because frankly, I thought black currant was just the brand of cheap vodka we were drinking, but it was actually the flavor. That's much better than I was expecting. It tastes like slightly different, but still just as sweet as a blueberry. And then I've got some cornbread, so we'll try it on top of that, since cornbread is like not a new food for me. But black currant cornbread is. Oh, good morning, Rose Dawson. I'm your mother. Now I'm the unsinkable Molly Brown. Why don't you have yourself some cornbread, darling? Sit down and have yourself a little bit of black currant preserves. How about that? Imagine that I'm Kathy Bates from the Titanic movie. Okay, darling, have some jam. For breakfast. Okay, I'm gonna take a bite of this now. Oh God, no. Ugh, I thought that was gonna be okay, but it wasn't. You guys, why is there a, it's too wild. It's too wild of a berry. That's my notion. When I tasted it on its own, I just licked it with my tongue, got some of the jam part, but then when I bit into it, I learned that all of these little beads are black currants, and they're just tiny little like wild berries in there. And all of them exploded into my mouth like fish eggs. And I think I'm thinking about fish eggs because I have some like fish on this table that I have to eat soon, and I'm super nervous. But you guys, that did not taste good. So I think my complaint is black currants taste like a little earthier than blueberries or whatever. At least I think it was the jam that was tasting weird. I'm gonna try some of this on its own. Yeah, the cornbread on its own is great. Love that. Love that journey for me. No, black currant conserve, you gotta get out of my face. You gotta get over there, and you gotta stay there. Oof, wild berry jams. Come on, 1912. What year was Smucker's invented? Surely they had Smucker's at the time of the Titanic. What brand of jelly were they using on the Titanic? What year was Smucker's founded?
The J.M. Smucker Company was founded in 1897.
1897! Okay, that's 15 years you had Smucker's on the scene. All right, we gotta keep moving on. I've been a little hesitant to even get this jar going because I don't want to eat it. I just don't. It's called herring in dill marinade. It's in a jar because I'm afraid of how it might smell. And this was on the menu. Look at there, herring. Just eat some fish in the morning, why don't you? Now this I know is a European thing because you guys still like this, don't you? Let me know if I'm wrong. I'm sure not every person in the United Kingdom loves fish for breakfast. You let me know down below and I will know whether or not to feel okay about it. I'll tell you if it's okay afterwards. I love this cornbread. I'm looking at a label here that says may contain bones. Come on. I've eaten some disgusting foods on this channel, and if you've seen any of that, then you know when it's time to eat something that I don't want to eat, it's like torture. I can barely bring myself to do it. Oh, I'm gagging already. I remember when I ate some crickets, and I'm gagging just thinking about it. Now we're gonna eat some herring. Okay, let's start by smelling it. There's so much dill. Oh, it smells like dill in like tuna. I love that. Okay, I'm on board again. No. I just realized though, I gotta give you guys a top-down view of my whole old-timey breakfast. But first, let me get a piece of this fish out. No, look, no. I hate touching it. Now that is a complete and balanced breakfast. You've got your herring, your offal, your nasty, your soupy. And we haven't even touched the green and the egg yet. Do you love it? Let's party. All right, I guess it's time to just eat the fish. Eat the cold breakfast fish. My stomach is feeling weird already. I hate it so much. You guys, whose idea was this? Jillian, that's my sister's name. Jillian, look at me in the screen. You did this. You knew they served fish on the Titanic, and you still told me to do it. The good news is, it feels familiar, like salmon. The bad news is I have to use my teeth to bite into it now. Other bad news is it's dripping liquid, and my fingers are touching it. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I hate it so much. The taste and the smell are all over me now. It's touching the table. It was bad from moment one. Right when I started to bite, I realized there was skin on the other side. So then the skin was tugging, so I had to bite harder to break through the skin so that I didn't have skin hanging on my face. And then the texture was there, and there was the taste of dill and mustard and fish. The fish itself was not bad. It tasted like fish. Oh, but the texture and the temperature and the taste of the dill, it was all very too much. And you guys were watching the whole time and didn't help. You didn't offer one single napkin to me. Look at me. I'm covered in drool. I just wanted to rinse out my mouth really fast that I couldn't even swallow that liquid. I was like, I don't want that in my stomach either. Wow, I really psyched myself out of eating this stuff, don't I? Whew. Let's just move on. Everything still smells like fish. So that's your fault. Let's follow this up with some watercress. This was on the menu and I was like, what's watercress? I guess I thought it was like a water chestnut, like some sort of water chestnut. But as it turns out, it's also a type of plant that's in the mustard family, kind of like dill, and it has a peppery taste. Apparently, that's all it says on the menu, so I guess they were just eating bowls of this stuff. They were like, yes, watercress. We're sailing on the ocean eating watercress, get it? But really though, I think it's like, this is an antioxidant superfood. Maybe that's why they were eating it, okay? Let's try a leaf of it to see if it's any good. Then we'll try it with our boiled egg, the most glamorous of all eggs. Yeah, spicy. It's got a little bit of a spicy, peppery taste to it. Ooh, it's really strong. Oh, I don't like that at all. It's very spicy, very bitter. Ah, crap. You guys, what the hell? I was not expecting this to be this bitter. Whoa. No way you're supposed to eat that. What the? Look, this is what I got. Organic upland cress, still on its root. That's as close to the Titanic as you can get, and I want to throw up. Like what? Cress? What are you? What are you even? Is like, I could find this growing outside in a rough area, and that's what they're selling at Whole Foods? Come on. This looks like the kind of thing you have to sweep up, or like that was growing out in my cousin's abandoned lot behind their house. What the hell? That was the worst thing I've ever tasted in terms of vegetable. I've never had a leaf taste so bad in my mouth. There's no way I'm pairing that with, well, I guess I am. I'm gonna eat a piece of that with a piece of boiled egg. I would be shocked if watercress was this spicy back in the day. Why would you eat that? It was at the end of the menu, so maybe it was like an after dinner sort of like digestive type of thing. Either way, I wonder if it's good with eggs. I hope so. It's better, for sure, but like, how much better can an egg make something really? Like, rarely is the option that helps something really make it palatable is when you add an unseasoned boiled egg. It's like, oh, now that's the cherry on top. Mmm, protein. Watercress, you're weird, and it's weird that you're even on the menu for the Titanic. I would have sunk you too if I were an iceberg, just to make sure that was as close to the bottom of the ocean as possible. Now we're saving the best for last. This is a buckwheat waffle. I don't know if they had waffles back then. I mean, I'm sure they did, but they on the menu actually served buckwheat pancakes. Whole Foods only had the mix for buckwheat pancakes. I'm not about to fire up the griddle. I'm not the Titanic kitchen, so I can't. But here's our buckwheat waffle. Hopefully it's the same thing. And hopefully, unlike everything else that I've eaten today, it's not disgusting. Mmm, normal food, yay! I'll dip it in the blackcurrant, but I don't want actual berry. Nah, yeah, nah, it's okay. Mmm. Thank goodness for this buckwheat pancake, or my whole breakfast would have been disgusting. You guys, the only thing that on this like whole voyage so far that didn't make me want to puke was the cornbread and the other bread, buckwheat waffle. Otherwise, your 1912 breakfast was weird AF, and I want no part of it. Like, if I had to sit through this for 2 weeks while I was sailing on the Titanic, you would see me running into the night, jumping over the railing myself. Or like, you'd find me stowed away in the kitchen somewhere, like with a stack of buckwheat pancakes, being like, this is all I can eat. I wonder if the second and third class breakfasts are any more enjoyable. I'll have to look into those menus next. Or should I try out some other first class meals like lunch or dinner first? Let me know in the comments below by saying more first class or other classes. Let me know which I should do next. Oi, what would you say was the worst breakfast food out here? I mean, the soup wasn't bad itself. It's just weird to have it at breakfast. It's like, soup is lunch, okay? Let me know what you think in the comments below, and give this video a big thumbs up if you want to see even more edible histories, explorations just like this. But most importantly, if you're new to my channel, I would love to have you click that subscribe button right over here to join the Nick D crew. That way you never miss new videos from me, especially if you turn on all of those notifications. That way you never miss both of my new videos that I upload every week. So click subscribe, you don't want to miss it. And I'll see you guys in a few more days. Thank you all for eating some stomach churning, doomed Titanic breakfasts with me today. I will see you next time. Waffle. Ow.